Welcome! Today we are going to be making kind of a Valentine's Day soap. It's gonna feature a little heart in the center. I'm gonna call it Be Mine because, you know, Valentine's Day. But I'll be using a pink sugar fragrance, and it's gonna be interesting because I've never done this type of style before. It should be easy enough, I would think, but I don't know. So we'll see. So I'm gonna have two versions of this video. I'm going to have this slowed down version so you can see what I'm doing step by step, but then I'm also going to have a version where it's sped up. So if you just are interested in watching the movements and listening to a little cool classical music, then tune into the sped up version. And as always, safety first. All right, let's get started. Okay, I've got my oils melted and I've got my colorants dispersed. I have this, let's see here. This Jazzberry Red mica powder, which I've used in the January Ember soap. I've got this Black Knight mica powder, which I used in the Geometric soap. And I've got a new Sparkle White, well, it's not really new, I've had it for a while, but I haven't used it in my videos. Sparkle White mica powder, which is very, very sparkly. I like it. So I've got all those dispersed in oil here. I'm going to be using the pink sugar fragrance. This is actually from Peak Candle Supplies. I think they just sell fragrances now, but this is kind of an old fragrance, so we'll see how well it works. But it highly discolors soap because of the vanillin content. So basically, I'm going to just scent the part that's going to be black, and that way it won't even matter. And then don't scent the pink part. Now the white part is going to be a little different because I'm not going to add soap batter to that, but you'll see what I'm going to do. Basically, I'm just mixing it with oil, and I'm going to drizzle it in the middle of my heart, kinda, sorta, and leave it as kind of like a thin oil line. And what it'll do is the oil will absorb into the soap and leave behind the mica. So I have to have it kind of thick. So that there's more mica powder than there is oil, because if I have too much oil, then when it absorbs, it'll kind of leave a hole where I put the oil. So anyway, here I am about to add my lye. Okay, I think we're good. And again, this is my usual lye recipe with silk and sodium lactate. Here we go. My lye was at room temperature, so when I mixed it with the oil, it brought my oil down by 10 degrees. And I'm being real delicate with it. I have a lot of hard oils in this recipe, and I don't want it to solidify by being too low in temperature, but I also don't want it to be too high in temperature. So it's about 107 degrees right now, which is just right for me, what I like anyway. But I'm going to speed through this so that you don't have to listen to this, and because this is not the interesting part. So I added my my pink to the thing because I know I don't want to scent that, and I went ahead and added my black to the bulk. Definitely use more black in there. It looks more gray, but because of the discoloration of this soap, it'll probably not matter. this aside for now. I hope I don't forget to add the fragrance. I do that sometimes, and then, well, I usually catch it. I've never, like, made an unscented soap because I forgot to scent it, but, and so usually I catch it at an inconvenient moment. That's not going to fit in there. Okay. This is going to be super sparkly. I added a lot of mica in there. I added a blend of the pink and the white mica because I didn't want it to be 100% like vivid pink. I wanted it to have a little bit of a softness to it. So yeah, that's what I did. Okay, just added my fragrance, and sometimes you can't see it in the video, but sometimes what happens, the fragrance will kind of emulsify in a weird way as you add it, and it turns your soap batter briefly white, like you'll see white swirls in it. That's normal, that'll go away. It's just kind of like an emulsifying thing that it's doing. I think I'm going to add more black to this. I'm not satisfied with how gray that looks. I'm just going to add it straight there, and that's okay to do. I usually like to disperse it just to keep it from like clumping, but in this case I just don't have time to disperse it. And made it a little bit darker, not much. I'll just leave it. It's fine. Like I said, it's gonna discolor, so it'll make it darker even still. It'll be more of like a black brown kind of color, because when a fragrance oil discolors soap batter, it turns brown. Sometimes ivory, and what it is it's due to the vanillin content in the fragrance oil. And usually wherever you get your fragrance, they'll usually disclose that information, so you know to look out for that. So right now I'm just pouring my batter, my black batter. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to make multiple hearts or not. I think I might. Now this, I think I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to use a pipette, because I don't want it to sink. I just want it to lay on top. And my batter is so thin, my black batter right now, that I'm afraid if I don't do this, it'll just sink right in there, and I don't want that to happen. I think what I'm going to do is chop the end of this pipette tip off, though, to give myself better, more, a wider and easier way to suck this soap up. That's better. And so the design I have for this is to take this white, kind of put it down the middle here, very lightly, not too much. And then go back to my black batter, which I'm going to do the same thing with a pipette tip. Put it over the top, just just a little bit. So what that's gonna do is kind of create the dent in the heart. So this here is a little tool I made myself out of a wire hanger. I mean, obviously it looks kind of janky, but that's okay. It fits perfectly here, just in the width of my mold, so I customized it to myself. So if I go straight in the middle here, down and up, and then same thing here, I can go the other direction, down and up, and that should create kind of a heart shape. We'll find out when I cut into it. So I'm going to lay some more black soap batter down. Oh man, this is really thin. I just don't want to break my heart. If I let it hit too hard on that heart, it's going to break right through and damage my shape. So I don't want to do that. Sometimes these designs take some serious legwork and time. I guess I was under the impression that this fragrance would speed up a little bit, but apparently it didn't. So I'm gonna actually mix it some more with my stick blender so that it thickens up more. Shoot. Yeah. Be aware of your surroundings, folks. Boy out of the way. I'm gonna have to clean that. Okay. Kind of wish I could thicken up the red too, or the pink, because it's gonna need the same thickness, but I can't get the mixer in that little tiny thing. So you will. We'll figure it out. Improvise. That's what I'm good at. So oh shoot. You'd be surprised at how forgiving soap can be, though. I mean, unless you're trying to make a perfect line, which is very hard to do, but I mean, you have to make sure your soap is super thick to get that perfect line, because that way you can lay it on top, and it's pretty hard, so it's not going to break through the layers. And I guess you'd be surprised, but I just don't have the patience to deal with that. But obviously I'm working pretty slow on this project, which is par for the course here in soap making, which I've known this for a long time. You can, I mean, I guess that video makes it look more black, but it's kind of gray looking to me. Now, I probably don't need the pipette for the pink, because the black is a little bit harder now. Harder in the sense that it's, you know, more firm. Okay, get my white. I didn't mix a whole lot of the white, so Hopefully I have enough. And we go with our hanger down and around. I dragged it all the way to the edge of the soap here because earlier I had done those two on either side and I didn't want to destroy the form of the one that's laying right there. If that makes sense. Now, let's cover up our pink. Might do another swipe in here just to make sure that I got the shape going. So now I actually have a lot of extra pink. So I think what I'm going to do is decorate the top with like swirls of pink and black. Or maybe a texture, since this is so thick. Maybe I'll add another heart. Should I or should I not? I don't think I will. Okay, so let's just do this. It smells very good, by the way. So like I said, this is Pink Sugar Fragrance Oil, and if you're familiar with the perfume by Aquilina, it smells just like it. It's got very sweet tones. It's pretty feminine. So it's a good Valentine's Day fragrance. Hence the heart. I can tell that this batter is kind of got a greenish tint to it. It's like a greenish black. Not intensely green by any means, but you can tell in like the thinner parts on my bucket here it looks more green, and I think that's just the combination of the fragrance because usually a discoloring fragrance, once you add it to the oils, it initially turns yellow, like kind of yellowish. And so mixed with this black, that kind of makes sense to me. So, okay, I got all the black out that I could muster. There we go. Let's add some pink to our tops. My cat's over there just watching me. She's so curious. But she sits there like a little princess. It's funny. Okay. I have this much pink left, which is quite a bit actually. So I may end up pouring some in my my square mold. I'm trying to see how I want to go about doing this here. I think I'm just going to add some decorative blah. And then use my spoon to maybe do some decorative texture here. I'm not a big fan of using the spoon to do texture. I like how the smooth topped ones have like a, you can do like the swirls and stuff on the smooth top. But this looks pretty neat, I'd say. I mean, it's not going to have as much texture as it could because it's still, even though it's thicker, it's still kind of fluid. I think when you want to do a texture, you want it to be kind of like the consistency of pudding, which this is kind of the consistency of semi-set pudding, not really quite there yet. So the cool thing is I can add like delicate little texture swirl elements. Go back over that. That's cool. I like that. I might go ahead and add like a little trapeze soap batter along each little thingy. I like my scientific terms for things. The little soap thingies on the thingy. I do that at work a lot. We have so many technical terms for things that it's hard to keep track of like what's what. So I'm trying to express like something that I'm talking about. And I'm just like, you know, the thingy on the thingy. In that one lab, the thingy. So, oh, that's pretty cool. One thing I could do with this, instead of having dots, I can make little delicate hearts out of these. Let's see how this works. Just draw it. Yeah, I like that. Draw it from the black through the pink. Because the black gives it that crease in the center that is, you know, resembles the heart shape. Yeah, I like that. And this I'm going to do opposites. I like the top, so hopefully the inside turns out like I envisioned. Sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, now this soap is ready to go into my warmed oven and sit for about half an hour. So this leftover pink, oops, I took my gloves off too soon, so do as I say, not as I do, guys. I'm gonna pour this in one of my square molds, and I'll have like a little baby bar of soap. It's not going to be fragrance though, because I didn't fragrance the pink part. That's okay. This will just be for me. So, anyway, off to the oven I go. I will see you next time when I cut it. Well, yeah. Okay, so I forgot to talk over this while I was cutting, but that's okay. I also filmed it in slow motion for some reason, so the quality's not as good, and I had to speed it up just a tad. But anyway, so I am cutting the Be Mine soap, and the quality's not that great of this video. I didn't hold it up very well for you to see, but there's the big heart in the middle, the two hearts on the side, and I think next time I do this, instead of laying down the heart layers using the tool and then laying down the black, I think I'm going to lay down everything and go back in with the tool, because I feel like by laying down the black after going in with the tool, it flattened out the tips of my heart, which it still looks like a heart. There's no mistaking that, but I think to get a more robust looking heart, just lay everything down first and then go in with the tool. But I still think it looks good, and it smells great. It looks great. I'm really happy with how this came out. And I have these listed for sale on my Etsy site, so if you're interested in purchasing one, I think I sell them for like $3.50 a bar, and I linked it in my description of this video. And yeah, so head on over there and check it out. If you'd like to subscribe, just click on my portrait on the right, and the embedded video is the sped up version of the same tutorial if you just want to skip past my talking and rambling. But anyway, if you want to receive messages whenever I update videos, just click on the bell after subscription and you'll get those updates. Anyway, so follow next time for another soap making extravaganza, and I'll see you next time. Bye.